When I was 26, I packed up everything I owned in Charleston, South Carolina, and I moved all the way to Columbia, South Carolina, which was 2 hours away, in order to start a new job. And when I got to my new job, I didn't know anyone, but I made a work friend, Meredith. And Meredith was so smart and funny, and I just loved spending time with her. And I can remember she laughed at my jokes, which is one of my favorite qualities in a friend. And so we started to spend some time together at work. And then one day I went from work to her house. And I just remember that feeling of walking into her house and how that kind of deepened our relationship and our friendship, because we weren't just work friends anymore. We were now real life friends. And maybe you can remember that when you were in elementary school and you had a school friend that you would play with at recess or in gym class. And then you would go to their house, and it became a whole different level of friendship once you went into their house. And with Meredith, she's now one of my closest friends. We went through years and years of just talking to each other every single day. She introduced me to my husband. And even though we don't get to talk every day anymore, whenever I do talk to her, it's just like picking up where we left off every time. And so if we never would have crossed that barrier between being just work friends to being real friends, that may never have happened. And I like to say that a website's job is to take a viewer to acquaintance, and then from acquaintance to friend, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And so your website needs to make people into friends so that they can do business with you. And the place that you do that is the About page. Your home page is your office, but your About page is where you live. And so most of us really create backwards. Most of us really hate creating our About pages because we don't know what to say. A lot of times we will rely on industry jargon or company history or really boring resumes of executives and biographical information. But it's not engaging. It doesn't tell customers who we are and what it will be like to do business with us. And so it's really important to tell a story on your About page. And I want you to think of it this way. Your About page will be the second most visited page on your website. I've seen it time and time again. It's true across industries. People are going to look at your About page because they want to know who you are before they decide to pick up the phone and start a relationship with you. So I've got a few tips for you today. Thanks for being here. I'm Kelly Coulter. I have Coulter Web Pros in Columbia, South Carolina. I have been doing websites since 1999. And I've got a team of great talent that can help you get your website created or help just give a little bit of advice if you're a website manager that might keep you moving forward. And I create these videos just because I'm on a mission to help website managers to create more findable and more usable content for their websites. All right. So my first tip is to make it personal. When we talk about making it personal, we're talking about telling a story on the About page. I want you to tell a story of who you really are as a company so that customers will understand what it's going to be like to do business with you as a company. One of the things that I like to say about product companies is that you may want to tell a little bit about how you make the selection for the products that you carry. You may want to tell a little bit about the process. You may want to talk about how the company was founded and why. And you definitely want to talk about the things that make your clients come back and work with you time and time again, and the things that make your employees want to come to work with you time and time again every day. Let's hope. The next piece of that, so tell a compelling story about your company, and then demonstrate the brand. So if your homepage is the place where you're really focusing in and showcasing your visual brand, so you've spent a lot of time on your logo, on your color scheme, everything looks really great, and the best place to see that is the homepage. But the place where you really start to tell the story that demonstrates your brand is going to be the about page. That's the place where you really start to illustrate why you've made the choices that you have in your visual brand and what it's going to be like to work with you going forward. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that when you tell that compelling story and you give the information that you give on your about page, it means that sometimes you're going to run some people off. Your readers are going to self-select. Not everyone is going to like what you have to say, and that's a good thing. It's better to run your customer, a potential customer, off during this phase when they haven't spent any time with your salespeople or with your customer service. If they know they don't want to do business with you, that's a good thing. But you don't want to tell a story that's kind of watered down. You don't want to try to win everybody over because you're going to end up winning nobody over. So tell your story honestly and thoroughly so that your potential customers and your readers can self-select and maybe self-select out. The next tip I've got for you is to keep it simple. I have seen the about page take down a website project. Overthinking can kill the momentum of a website project. You'll see sometimes where, let's go back here. We're not ready for that one. I've seen times where the about page gets stuck in approvals and it sits on an executive's desk for months and months and months. And that executive just never gets time to go through it and really tweak it the way they want to. And so the best thing that I can say is that you need to determine the message for your about page up front, agree on it, and then empower the website content creator to write the about page in the same way that they would write any other page on the website. And so make sure that your website content creator is empowered. Okay, so now on to staff bios. Let's talk about staff bios. This is a piece that can become a real sticking point. People will start to have questions. Should we have a staff directory? Should it be searchable? Should it be filterable? Do we need to include the college everybody went to? Do we need to bring in a professional headshot photographer? And these are all great questions to be asking. The problem is that sometimes that discussion can become circular and it can become a design by committee situation, which is something that you want to avoid. So again, if we go back to the point about empowering your website content creator, this is another time where you need to have one person and then that's empowered to make the decisions, and then you want to go forward. So with staff bios, whether that means that you give the bio of a few key players or maybe just the founder or maybe nobody, or whether you do a full listing and change it every time somebody leaves, it's up to you to decide that. But don't let the staff bios piece be the downfall of the entire website launch or the launch of your about section. So make the decisions, move forward. Know that you can always revisit those decisions later. They are not written in stone. Your website is a living, breathing document. And so the website can be launched while the staff bios piece is being created. And then that can be created. That staff bios piece can be launched at a later time. I want you to really think about the readability of your about page. This is one page that people actually really will read through. A lot of times with website content, you see that people skim. They want to see it in bullet points. They may just look at the pictures. And this is a place where people really will read because they're looking for clues to what it's going to be like to do business with you. And so make sure that it's readable. And so I would say that you want to break up your about content with nice headers and keep everything really clean and readable. And a few other tips. I am not going to read these here because they are too small and they're covering my head. But If you go to the PDF of this blog post, or if you go to my website and you read the blog post, you're going to find some bullet points that talk about just a few other tips for writing the about page and laying out the about page. You're also going to find some writing cues for telling a compelling story. And so I made a list of writing cues that you can take. And what I would suggest is that you go and write a paragraph on a selection of those writing cues. And then you also give the same writing cues to a few key members of the team. Let them write a paragraph or two. From there, you can take that information back and you can start to compile and create a really compelling story that can be used for the about page. All right, tip number 3, call readers to action. And so if a person has gotten to your about page and they've read all the way through to the bottom, they are interested. They're interested, they're primed, they're ready to at least take the next step, if not to open their wallets and start to do business with you. And so you want to schedule a meeting. So there's a call to action that you want to put at the end of the about page. It's not anything too obvious or too salesy, but give them an opportunity to schedule a meeting with you. Give them an opportunity to sign up for updates. Or if you are a retailer, you may want to link to your signature product, but give them something to do at the end of that about page. And again, not salesy, just maybe a link even in the content, maybe not even a button, but give a call to action. Okay, schedule a meeting, sign them up for updates, or link them to a product. So that is what I've got for you. I want you to remember that your about page is a sales page and it deserves some really quality attention, because if done right, it can bring in sales from the right customers, the customers that you're going to want to do business with and that you're going to enjoy doing business with. And it's also going to help readers to self-select out. So it's a really important piece of your website. The other piece of that is it's how many, what is the second most visited page on most websites? All right, y'all. So thank you for watching all the way through. I'm Kelly Coulter. If you need more information, if you need some advice or some support, schedule a 20-minute call with me. If you go to my website, coulterwebpros.com/call, you can schedule a 20-minute call with me. I also offer longer consultation calls that will result in some documentation of the strategies that we come up with in that call. So those are 90-minute calls and those are paid for, but you can find that same link on that coulterwebpros.com/call page. I really thank you for watching and for listening. Please like, subscribe, give me the comments that you've got. I would love to hear from you, and have a great day. I will talk to you again soon.